All right, Ben Whittaker wins an 8 round points decision over a very, very, very game Leon Willings. Now, let's talk about Ben Whittaker's performance. Going into this fight, I actually wasn't aware until he announced it in the interview. I think it was with Boxing Social that he's no longer working with Sugar Hill Stewart. Obviously, that's who Ben Whittaker turned over with. He's been training with Sugar Hill in all of his fights up until now. So I just assumed it was business as usual that Sugar Hill would be in the corner. Apparently not. And apparently Ben Whittaker is... I got the impression that the guy who's in the corner is just there for this specific fight, and they're kind of looking what routes they're going to go down with trainers moving forward. Personally, with the style Whittaker has, I would say Adam Boot, because he tends to love that kind of fast, athletic, hands down style, move the head, stuff like that. He tends to like that style, but you need long arms to make that style work, which he does have. But you also need punching power, which we'll get to that. Let's talk about this performance. So, Ben Whittaker, before I talk about this performance, Ben Whittaker coming into this fight, a lot of people have been talking about Ben Whittaker. He's gone somewhat viral. I think he's, in terms of followers, he's got over 1 million. His videos have been watched God knows how many million times, the highlight clips of Ben Whittaker and stuff like that. So he's starting to get a name for himself. It reminds me a little bit of when Josh Kelly was doing that when he started his career. Ben Whittaker is way more charismatic, and quite frankly, I think he's got a higher ceiling than Josh Kelly. So people are watching Ben Whittaker, they're liking the showboating, they're liking what they're seeing. In this fight, he was in there against an area level fighter, no disrespect, but he was. And did he make hard work of it? He had a lot more problems in this fight than personally I thought he would have got, and that he's had in previous fights. I think it showed that Whittaker, in terms of speed, reflexes to an extent, they're quite good. But in terms of punching power, questionable. Questionable. He was definitely landed a plenty on Leon Willings, but Willings, apart from the first round, which I think was more a body shot that put him down, he never seemed badly stunned, badly rocked, and he was able to land quite a few shots on Ben Whittaker. In fact, actually, as the fight progressed, he started to come more into it. He started to get his time and started to land a few shots. He actually started to switch up the stance as well and catch Ben Whittaker coming in several times. Ben Whittaker going into this fight, I like the showboating, I like the confidence, I like all that. Against the level of opponents he's been in there with. Some of the opponents he's been in there with have been Tommy Fury opponents. So Tommy Fury is just, in terms of pro boxing, Queensbury, trying to do something. He's down there. Ben Whittaker's up here. So to be in there with the same level of opponent, I believe that they shared a respective opponent. Whittaker took care of him in a round or two. That he can have fun at that level. He can showboat. He does a little bit too much sometimes, to be fair, but it's the end of the day, it's still nice to watch. He can do that. In this fight for the first round, certainly up until the end, he didn't really showboat. He did at the end. There was some showboating in there, but not as much, because he was in there with someone who was not on his level, but good enough to make him think and good enough to have him kind of be switched on. After about round 3 is when you started to see Whittaker kind of tone it down a little bit with the showboat, and I think it was the third round. He was kind of looking at the corner every now and again, doing that, like the opponent's corner, being like, oh, what are you going to do, what are you going to do? And then obviously, it warmed into it, and the referee gave Leon Willings 2 rounds. Probably the last two. The last 2 were kind of the better rounds for him, realistically. You can maybe give him a share of one of the earlier rounds, maybe, but it was still Whittaker doing the most work. A lot of people have looked at this performance and they said, oh, he's going to go nowhere. I think Ben Whittaker has a lot of potential, but I definitely think that the training situation needs addressing. Sugar Hill Stewart now apparently isn't a good trainer. I mean, that's just... It's like one fighter leaves, and Ben Whittaker has said it's purely down to geographical reasons, that he's in America and then obviously he's working with Tyson Fury. That's purely the reason. But of course, people are so reactionary nowadays. Sugar Hill Stewart is no good because Ben Whittaker leaves him. Listen, there's been plenty of fighters who've left trainers in the past. Derek James, is he no good because Joshua doesn't like training in America or doesn't want to be based himself in America? No, he's still a good trainer. He needs to get the training situation sorted. There is a good fighter in Ben Whittaker. There is. He's going to want to make sure his defense is a little bit more switched on, because it did get through a little bit too much with shots there. And quite frankly, I don't think he has the power to really keep these guys honest. Same with Josh Kelly, really. I don't, again, I'm not comparing him to... I can see similarities. I think Whittaker has a higher ceiling than Kelly, quite frankly. But I can see similarities of when Josh Kelly turned over with Sky. You seen this hands down flash, you know, bing, 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 showboating and all that jazz. He was getting clipped against a who's he of journeyman. You know, it's like the magician. The magician wants you to look in this hand because the real secret is in this hand. That was the way Josh Kelly was. You know, and those who were looking were like, look at that hand right there. He is screwed when he steps up. And that's what happened. You know, Josh Kelly, domestic level anyway, he's certainly the cream of the crop. But going further than that, good luck with that. Whittaker, I think, has potential to go further than that. How much further remains to be seen. He needs to get the training set up sorted. In terms of Whittaker, he is a promoter's dream. He's flashy, he's arrogant, he's showboat, he's entertaining. He is a potential star if managed correctly, promoted correctly, and more importantly, trained correctly. He is a potential star there. Could be a while off with that. Let me know your thoughts on Ben Whittaker in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Lads and lassies, I'll talk to you after the, next fight. Peace.